I want to spend a little bit of time visiting with you about where we are with Luminant and I guess regarding the payment from Luminant, we really don't know any more than we knew. I guess the last time we talked, the way that system works is that the judge signed the order on May the 4th, and that started the clock ticking a 30-day time frame for Luminant to either decide to pay their taxes or to appeal. That expires next Saturday, June the 4th. I don't think any of us really expect to be paid between now and June the 4th. I'll just say that we're not sure exactly what action they'll take. I guess they can they can appeal, of course. There's some discussion about they might ask for a new trial, which would again just be a delay mechanism. But I think none of us really expect to get paid. But we'll see. And sort of in that regard, I think that sort of begs the question about what are we as a hospital doing to prepare for number one, the fact that we're being paid late, and then the second part of that is what plans are we making if Luminant does in fact appeal. And I'll just bring you up to date on what we've done and what we've implemented, and tie some numbers to it just a little bit, so that give you a little bit more information. But what we've done is we've asked all of our admin staff members to take a day or two each pay period without pay, and as a result of that, that's reducing our salary expense on the admin staff by about $24.44 per payroll, or about $5,200 a month. We've also made that request of our department managers and any other employees that are in their department. And on the last payroll, we had a savings of about $23.70, and that's a monthly savings of about $5,000. So with the admin staff and all other employees, just through voluntary reduction in their hours, we reduced our monthly expenses by $10,400. The other thing that we've done, we've had three positions come open. One of them was Candy here tonight, who's our credentialing clerk, and we've just gone to Kelly's department and said, hey, y'all are going to have to pick up the slack here. We're not going to fill this spot, and y'all just have to figure out how to do it. And they've done that. The same thing, we had a housekeeping supervisor who resigned, and that's Michael's department. So we just said, Michael, you'll be the supervisor for that department for an indefinite period of time. We also had an operating room nurse that resigned, and we're not filling that position. Those three positions not being filled, saves us $63.36 per payroll and $13,000 per month in salary expense, and cash. The other thing that we've done, and it's a pretty big item. Dr. Lawton has been practicing with us here for 2 years. He's an internal medicine physician. Been practicing with us 2 years. His practice has just not grown the way he would like for it to grow, and I guess the way we would like for it to grow. So, as a result of that, we've not renewed his contract, and his last day will be May the 31st. So, that generates a pretty significant savings. That's $18,750 a month that we'll be saving. And when you add his nurse into that, we had a vacancy for one of our other physicians, and so we've transferred his nurse over, but we've actually reduced our nursing staff there by one, and that's another savings of about $48.53 per month. The other thing, which is kind of an interesting change for us, and we visited with the medical staff about this last week, and that is, we provide 24/7 cardiology coverage, or respiratory therapy coverage, and that means two things. One of them is that we have staff here at night that are doing the routine treatments on patients that are in the hospital. It also means that we have staff that are immediately available, that if we have a patient that comes to the emergency room and needs to go on a ventilator or some more sophisticated services. We talked with the medical staff about changing that and only providing 12 hours of inpatient care. So we would have inpatient services from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. After that, the routine care on the floor would be given by the nurses. and the emergency care would be on an on-call basis. So we talked to the doctors about, say, you know, they're going to live 30 to an hour and a half away. Is that something we live with? And the medical staff said yes. So we'll be doing that. It'll take us a little while to get the nurses trained up, and it'll take us a little while to make those changes. But it's a pretty significant savings. It's $7,800 a month in savings in salary and wage expense by not having those people on our payroll. And another one, it's a very small item, but I think it demonstrates support from physicians and also the staff. You know, we paid a physician, we paid a stipend of $500 to provide some inpatient training to our nurses, and we will eliminate that on a temporary basis. You know, we look at all of those items there. I mean, that's a savings of about $25,655 per payroll, and on a monthly basis, it's $55,585, which is no small amount. And all of those will be in place with the possible exception of the cardio call by on or before June 1st. Some of them are already in effect. We did see a savings on our last payroll because of some of the reduction in hours. So we're doing that. The other thing, which I've mentioned to you before, the other action that we're taking, we have budgeted salary increases of 2% across the board for schedule for June for next month. Those will not be given; those have been canceled. We also have a program that if you've been here a certain number of years, you can sell back some of your PTOs or your paid time off. We will not be making those payments in June either. So that's those dollars which would have gone out that we'll keep back. We've also told our employees that we'll not be reimbursing for travel and education. If you have a meeting that you want to go to and it's not absolutely required as a part of your licensure or part of the hospital certification, if you do that, you're traveling on your own money. So that's been well accepted. I'll say that. And then all replacement employees, require approval of me and the admin staff. And that's what we've done. I'll tell you that Tuesday, we generally, our admin staff usually meets on Monday morning, but we'll be meeting on Tuesday morning this coming week, and we'll be looking at, I guess, more significant reductions as a contingency if we don't get paid by Luminant. And those, I'll just tell you, those will involve some layoffs from the hospital. There's no way to avoid it. We'll be looking at all of our services. I think I've mentioned to you before that, and I mentioned to the medical staff that one of the contingencies, I'm not going to say when it will take effect, but it's something that we have to think about. We'll be thinking about how we would basically eliminate our med-surg department for an indefinite period of time, where we'd scale it down to 2 beds so that we wouldn't lose our license for our inpatient. Would have a very, very limited admissions, if any admissions at all, to the med-surg. We'd have to arrange for our patients to be transferred somewhere else, for inpatient care. We'd have to make those arrangements probably with either Somervell or Cleveland, or perhaps Lake Granbury, their hospitals that are here. And I talked to the doctors about it. They're not happy about it. I'm going to tell you that. It's significant, but when you look at the revenue, the vast majority of our revenue comes from outpatient services. Very little revenue. When you look at it as a whole from inpatient care, and then also that's where a significant amount of our expenses are. That's where some of our most highly paid employees are. So it's a pretty drastic change. We don't have a date on that, but we'll be discussing how we would think we'd make that change, and we go back to the physicians, get their input onto it, so that if we decided to make that move, we would have a plan in place, and it's something that we can apply if it comes to that. I mean, it's something that no one wants to do. But if you do that, then you've got to staff down all of your other departments, your lab, your radiology, your cardiology, all of those departments have got to staff down to where we're only providing outpatient services there. I'll answer questions about that if you want, but I think it's important that we at least anticipate that we're not going to get paid for a while from Luminant, and as a result of that, we're going to have to significantly change the way we do business for a short period of time.
Questions or comments from the board?
Well, Ray, I'd just like to say that I'm touched and impressed by the efforts that you've made and that your employees have
Well, these
made
people, these are the ones that,
to cut back in these hard times. This is very impressive.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. But, that's, we think that's part of our responsibility. But I appreciate what you're saying. That's all I have to say on that, Mr. Chairman.